I'm not gonna reach. Give me an officer, another officer come, I'll reach for it. I'm not gonna reach, I got guns on me, and my stuff is in where my...
Know, if you do not present your license, you're also in violation of your concealed carry.
Okay, I'm not gonna reach for my license because my gun is where my purse is.
Which one we gonna do? Just to make you feel comfortable, I'm gonna wait for another unit to get
Please do that, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay?
Otherwise, I have to have you follow me to the station because you're not presenting your license, and there's a possibility your vehicle can be towed.
You just said we waiting on the officer. There's nothing else for me to say at that moment.
I'm telling you right
I know,
now.
but you've already...
CNN has published a video on Tiffany Henyard that highlights claims made by Robert Collins, the former Dalton, Illinois, police chief. Collins has publicly criticized Mayor Henyard, accusing her of seriously squandering police resources for personal security. In 2022, from his position, Collins alleges that Henyard used significantly more taxpayer funds for her personal security than is customary for a mayor of a tiny town like Dalton, including sending out far more police officers and cars.
Those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around protecting America.
One station about Mayor Tiffany Henyard's controversial police security detail and how it impacted his ability to fight crime.
Last year, a Fox 32 investigation showed how that detail is taking officers off the street and costing taxpayers thousands of dollars in overtime. Dane Placco continues his investigation, exclusively talking to the former top cop who tried to put a stop to it.
According to sources, Henyard spent around $1 million on these security measures. Arrangements involving numerous cops and substantial overtime compensation.
Your critics say that you have a significant security detail. First of all, how large is your police department in Dalton, and what is your security detail?
So we have about 45 officers in our village. My security is warranted due to the fact of threats and things of that nature, but what people are not stating is it's in our CBA. That's our collective bargaining agreement. That's our union contract. So it comes with a seat. That's what people are not saying. I didn't make this up. I didn't just create this and say, I want security.
This is a component of larger claims of financial mismanagement made by Henyard's administration, including the improper use of village finances for unauthorized spending and personal purchases.
4 days ago, she fired the chief of police because he was investigating all of those credit card receipts and all those claims of her funneling taxpayer dollars into her privately owned cancer awareness charity, which you cannot do. And one of those investigations that the chief of police was investigating, it stated here in this tweet, and shout out to this person for tweeting this, they said Mayor Tiffany Henyard is one of the most corrupt ever. She actually hired a child offender, overpays her police officers. She does. She overpays her police officers to be her security, which what do you need that much security for? You're a mayor of a town with about 20,000 people. One of the officers was paid $13,000 in 2 weeks for 300 hours of overtime. Did anybody work 300 hours of overtime? So this has to be investigated because it looks like these numbers were being padded. So the chief of police, or the ex-chief of police, had his attorney investigate these claims, and they're standing behind them that there were allegations of corruption, and he was investigating them. Now I'm gonna do a little bit more digging because I think there's a lot more to know about this Tiffany Henyard story because anybody who shows up to a city town hall meeting dressed like Nino Brown is definitely doing something that they shouldn't be doing.
Henyard is already the subject of several investigations, including an FBI review, and new revelations have increased the level of attention surrounding her. The methods used by administration as the village's financial condition deteriorated, the state stepped in and suspended some funding.
It's actually happening in our society. A systematic challenge because Jedediah Brown uncovered some very important information about how corrupt this police department is. Let's start from the very beginning, why Jedediah Brown found himself in the crosshairs of the super mayor. So to understand that, let's talk more about who Jedediah Brown is. He is a community activist. He was here to uncover the issues with Andrew Holmes, the trustee that's accused of sexual conduct in Las Vegas of last year. But he was able to uncover some really dangerous things that's been happening with the police of Dalton. And he's been so effective of uncovering how corrupt the police are. Can one person be? But the problem is a group of them. It doesn't matter how many eyes are staring directly at the village of Dalton. They are out there trying to manipulate and try to intimidate someone who has been important in uncovering this disgusting, corrupt police department, with Lacey using his offices not as enforcers of the law, but as instruments of personal and political intimidation. But we all know exactly who is the true architects of this nonsense. It was Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods. Kamal Woods is Tiffany Henyard's ride or die. I mean, at this point, the feds are looking at Kamal Woods. He doesn't care. He's going to try to protect Tiffany Henyard. And he actually talked to Jared Dyer. This encounter what Jared Dyer had with Kamal Woods was at a gas station, which began as a casual interaction, quickly escalating to a situation that had a lot of covert threats. In my opinion, Kamal Woods' demeanor and his choice of words were calculated to intimidate. He tried to do it in a smooth, slick way. He basically hinted at potential repercussions for Jared Dyer's continued activism. And the sickest part of this is Kamal Woods throwing a covert threat, an underlying threat towards Jared Dyer Brown.
In reaction to these claims, Dalton, Illinois, Mayor Tiffany Henyard has vehemently rejected all of the complaints against her, claiming they are part of a planned attempt to weaken her leadership. Henyard maintains the charges are baseless and politically motivated. She insists that her actions have been in the best interest of the people of Dalton and claims that the accusations are the work of her political rivals who want to bring her administration into disrepute.
I'm going to be really brief, but I want to come on here just to educate the public, the world, that I'm okay. Thank you guys for all your calls, all your concerns, and it saddens me because people will do anything just to get a click, a view, get ratings, things of that nature. Anything. So I'm here to tell y'all that I'm okay. I have not been in anybody's custody. People got this little fake news out there, and I've tried to tell you guys what I've been dealing with for the last couple of months. People saying all these negative things, false allegations, and I just wanted to add and let you see that I am okay, and it's all false, it's all fake. And with that being said, I will be suing the individual that put that fake news out there. And that's, again, I'm going to restate why I keep telling y'all stop believing the fake news. Everything that's going on is political, as you guys can see. They drag me left to right, and they blame me for everything possible. It's a three-legged dog walk our street, up is still fault, just everything. So I just want y'all to see it for what it is, but I'm just sick and tired of the...
Her leadership has also been further tarnished by the indictment of some of Mayor Henyard's close associates, including former Deputy Police Chief Louis Lacey, on allegations of bankruptcy fraud. Given his significant position inside the Dalton Police Department, Lacey's conviction raises questions regarding the integrity of people in Henyard's inner circle and his legal. Her administration's reputation as a reliable official is tarnished by corruption and poor management. Henyard, who was thought to be in charge of hiring and keeping people who are now involved in illegal activity, is also badly reflected by Lacey's acts.
Talkers, welcome to Real Law Talk. You know what this is called? This is called tightening the noose. The FBI has indicted the Deputy Police Chief of Dalton on lying in bankruptcy court. So here's what happens. You file for bankruptcy, and you have to tell the court, what are all your assets? And this is where people get in trouble. They try to hide assets in their bankruptcy proceeding. And they say, I only have $100,000 in assets. A lot of times that's found out, and you can be charged with a crime. It's a common bankruptcy issue, and it's a common bankruptcy crime. But this has nothing to do with his position in Dalton. So they're going to charge him. They've indicted him. And now they're going to flip him against Tiffany Henyard. That's how it's going to happen. And that's Real Law Talk.
As the current mayor of Dalton, Illinois, Tiffany Henyard has been embroiled in a number of scandals, providing information on her criminal history before entering the position.
Right here, this is the mugshot. She was arrested July 20th, 2016 and released a day later. And her charge was criminal trespass to vehicles. What is criminal trespass? The criminal act involves unauthorized entry into a vehicle owned by someone else. This offense doesn't necessarily involve death or damage to the vehicle. The key element is unauthorized entry. You got into a vehicle that wasn't yours. It is considered a form of trespass, which typically involves entering or maintaining on property without permission. That is a pretty serious crime. Nothing to scoff at. It's not something minor. My car was broken into during the pandemic. Getting into someone's vehicle is like going into someone's house. So Dalton just can't catch a break. Results for Tiffany Henyard were found to be invalid due to a combination of legal and procedural problems. The Illinois First Appellate Court ruled that the Dalton Village Board made a mistake in attempting to ask voters to both create a recall provision and to recall Henyard from office in the same election. Simply put, they tried to make a new rule about how to remove a mayor and use it at the same time. But the law says you can't do both at one time. You have to make the rule first, and then later you can use it to decide if the mayor.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dalton, Illinois, has come under fire for allegedly abusing taxpayer-funded police services for her own personal safety. Police resource abuse during the Henyard's administration has been likened to some of the most notorious cases of political corruption throughout the history of the region. The glaring contrast between these accusations and the behavior expected of public servants who are tasked with serving their constituents and obeying the law, rather than abusing their positions for personal benefit, is what makes them so stunning.
Not only does she serve as the mayor of this village, she's also Thornton Township supervisor. Now, she is being accused of historic misuse of taxpayer funds to the sum of, first of all, using the local police as her own personal security detail, costing up to $1 million. She's also being accused of misusing taxpayer money to pay for lavish trips for herself and collecting a combined salary with the supervisor position and her mayor position of $287,000. This is a small town in Illinois, 20,000 people that Tiffany will pull off. This is her at a local public meeting dressed up as an infamous criminal kingpin named Nino Brown. As were mounting and as questions were not being answered, the town voted on a unanimous resolution to probe and look at some of those financial details. And Tiffany herself, who, by the way, calls herself the super mayor, vetoed that resolution. They're also requesting an investigation by the FBI, and some of these allegations, or accusations I should say, are so serious that even some local businesses are saying that their licenses and things that they need are not getting renewed after they made decisions to cut off ongoing financial donations to her campaign. So it's a pretty big deal, and this is one of the things that she was questioned on. She has this foundation, a cancer research foundation, that people are also wanting an investigation into, as she has not disclosed how she has used taxpayer money in that foundation.
The acts of Hen have been criticized for depleting public funds that could have been utilized for vital services with a population of slightly more than 20,000 and a comparatively low median income.
With this TikToker for disrespecting a grave. So this TikToker made a video where she went and cleaned a random person's grave. Before I continue, I have to say she really did do a good job cleaning this grave. Like, this is before she cleaned it, and this is after. Like, no matter how you see this, you have to say she did a good job. I mean, ask your friends, they'll probably think she did a good job too. But the way she went about doing this is what has people kind of conflicted. You see, at one point during the video, she put a whole vacuum cleaner on the grave. Like, I'll be honest, this part did not seem necessary or respectful. Like, if you watch the video and see how she used a vacuum cleaner, it seems very, very iffy. And that's what has a lot of people kind of conflicted and upset with the video. Like, this part does not sit well at all with people. And a lot of people are also upset that she not only did this to a random person's grave without permission or asking the family or anything like that, but also the fact that she filmed it and made a whole super viral video of cleaning this stranger's grave. A lot of people are saying that also does not sit right with them. Basically, people are saying if you're going to do something nice like this, they would prefer that you do it without filming. But I gotta know what you guys think about this.
Henyard's accusations present a concerning image of a leader who has seriously abused her position of authority to further her own interests and establish unheard of influence over the town.
Parks and Rec situation going on in a small village outside of Chicago thanks to this mayor, Tiffany Henyard. And with George Santos leaving the house, this is the new, funniest, most corrupt politician in the United States of America. I learned about Tiffany today when I read an article about the ordinance she's putting in that states if she loses her re-election to be mayor, the mayor's salary will be decreased from $225,000 to $25,000. But if she wins, it will stay the
Among the most startling allegations is that Henyard has abused the Dalton Police Department, converting employees into her personal staff. Reports indicate that she has even given cops to do our duties unrelated to law enforcement, even making them participate in a music video that she manufactured.
Recorded a music video with taxpayer dollars. It's not even her own song, it's just her singing over it. This is a legit comedy show. I can't wait for the documentary about this. Look at her with the cops. And the crazy thing is, all the things I've mentioned, it's only the tip of the iceberg with her. I could do a 10-part series on Tiffany. She is the most iconic politician running right now. She just does what she wants, and then she just keeps it moving. She goes, I'm gonna keep spending taxpayer dollars and free fresh produce. But Tiffany always puts her face and name in huge letters opposed to the actual thing it's advertising in order to get her name out there. And as I said, this is all paid for by taxpayers. Tiffany recently went to Las Vegas with a few of her friends to attend a conference. While there, she spent all this money on airfare, hotels, and then money at restaurants like Ruth Chris's, Cafe Hollywood, Hot and Juicy Crawfish. And this was all paid for by the taxpayers because she was there attending a conference. She also spent a fair amount of money at Bubba Gump's shrimp company, and then she brought the hat that
Henyard's abuse of power extends beyond simple duties, as she is accused of obstructing because her staff were engaged, the police were unable to take action in reports of sexual assault in the community.
You said she went to the mayor to try and, explain what happened. The mayor said, I'll take care of this. Don't worry. And then she gets put on FMLA and loses her job. Could something have been done differently by the mayor, who she looked up to, this young lady?
Absolutely. She herself should have launched an investigation. An investigation. This happened on your watch. You should have taken action immediately. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a daughter. Do you not feel anything? Absolutely. To do that, you have a daughter. You have an obligation to this village. You are the leader. You are the leader. To let something like that go by and not get involved. You are just as much, oh my God. Everybody should be prosecuted to the full extent. Everyone involved, even if you knew about it and you covered it up, you as well should take part of this blame here. You should take fault. Something should happen to you as well. If you know something, say something. This trustee always speaks. If you know something, say.
Due to growing evidence, the FBI is apparently getting close to filing charges against Henyard, indicating that the issue has gotten so bad that federal officials are now paying attention. A criminal charge now hangs over her administration, casting a shadow over her political destiny and raising the possibility that her acts have not only broken ethical standards, but may have also broken federal laws.
Chicagoland's super mayor might be going to a supermax prison very soon. The FBI issued multiple subpoenas in the last week, and now we know that a federal grand jury has been investigating Tiffany Henyard for corruption since November. I do not know what more they need to see. The residents of the town literally had a rally called Take Our Township Back last week. It won't be her first time behind bars, but unlike when she was arrested for vehicle trespass, she is now facing 22 criminal charges, and her own lawyer just dropped out because guess what? She hasn't paid her bills, and the city now owes as much as $20 million. This is what happens when people who did not earn their position of authority get access to power. If you didn't know, while she was voted mayor back in 2021, the vast majority of her income and power really comes from her position as township supervisor, where she makes over $220,000 a year. But she only has that huge salary because she inherited it with the position from the predecessor who passed away. Tiffany actually passed an incredibly shady ordinance, so if somebody defeated her in the next election, their salary would only be $25,000. So it's literally not worth it to run against her. You know it's a bad situation when the residents think the best idea is to bring in Lori Lightfoot for $400 an hour. It's so frustrating how slow the wheels of justice turn, but it feels like this story is starting to accelerate, and I hope that Dalton citizens don't have to wait much longer to see her in an orange pants.
The questionable actions of Henyard have prompted many Dalton trustees to initiate a lawsuit against her in an attempt to hold her accountable. Held legally responsible for what they perceive to be a blatant abuse of authority, and the results could have a big impact on Dalton's future governance.
I'm not going to trust you to buy property, whether you can do it or not. Because, then Henyard's like, you can do it if you understand. It's not about understanding why. They don't trust you at all. to do anything. I think the FBI is going to set her straight as well, but that's where the meeting was. It was Henyard with her propaganda nonsense, with the terrible videos, old videos, recycled edited clips, and then it came to Kirk Key, Trustee Belcher, Trustee Norwood setting her straight, saying whatever you were saying was complete nonsense. And you could tell Belcher got under Henyard's skin. She was mad at all of the public comments, completely roasting her. Completely. You're not only you're incompetent, you're a thief, you're stupid. Like, you're just dumb. You're embarrassing yourself. All these things. I mean, it was quite the spectacle. So I think at that end, he couldn't take it anymore. And obviously Belcher was just tired of her lying. And that's why they went back.
Until we meet again, thanks for watching Visual Vortex.